And of course, an internationally renowned singer.
That's enough, sweetheart.
We'll take it from here.
Let me first of all express my appreciation, my great sense of privilege and opportunity to be invited to participate in this forum. Beyond the fact that it's about labor and labor left and labor left policy, the fact that it's 1199 carries its own dynamic, its own permanently attractive. And of course, to build of the lily and to make me feel my spirit soar and dance was the idea that I would be sharing the platform with Angela Davis. I've already written the book, so I don't need to speak about my love affair with her. She knows nothing about it. But I've had a deep place in my heart for her remarkable courage and strength, her vision, her articulation. And I think most importantly, it's the depth of her humanity. And each time I've listened to her and seen her and heard her speak, I've left instructed, inspired, and enjoy the idea that I am part of the human family. She has spoken very eloquently here tonight and said everything that I would have said. Perhaps she said it more eloquently and more precisely and with greater brevity than I would have seized upon, but she said, this is all for the purpose of trying to take a look at where do we go from here. 1199 in the labor policy, the labor left policy, is responsible for this confusion. The statistics of where we are and what we've been through, I think, is more than known to all of us. I have to assume that if you're here, you are an activist and that you are a participant in the affairs of our social needs. And therefore, my standing here bringing you more statistics is redundancy. So let me get to the point. Years ago, when I was invited to come here, I had just been into the better part of my first year recovering from a stroke. The severity of that experience ensured that I would no longer be able to sing, and I would no longer have the platform that I had, which were global audiences in all of the major nations of the world. A platform that I had enjoyed for well on 3/4 of a century. Much of that time has been spent, if not all, in struggle. Dealing with the issues of poverty, dealing with the issues of labor, dealing with the issues of ideology, and dealing mostly with, always, the issue of oppression. And in that undertaking, much of my life has been rewarded by the things that I have come to do and experience. So I've met in my lifetime people like Paul Robeson, Dr. W.E.B. Du Bois, and Ella Baker, and Fannie Lou Hamer, and people like Dr. King, certainly, Nelson Mandela, on and on and on. And all of the young men and women that very early on stepped to the space that was left for them to do the work that we now see being done in 1199. The early days of Paul Foreman and Leon Davies, meeting with those men and many of the women who made up the infrastructure of this organization. A few years ago, this institution, through that history, extended. Can you stop taking the picture if you don't mind? I hear you all things. I like it, but it's okay. They asked me what do I want to do at this time in my life, and I said, well, I will no longer be able to perform with the joy and with the enthusiasm that I've known all my life, but that doesn't mean it's over. And I said to them, what are you doing with 1199? What's going on in SEIU? And what's going on with Bread and Roses? And I'm sitting next to a guy named George Gresham, and in his roly-poly way, he just said, whatever you want. And I thought he misunderstood the question. So I said, no. I said, what are you doing with Bread and Roses? How is it going? And he said, I answered you. I said, whatever you want. And I said, that's opening up the door to an awful lot of mischief. Could you be more specific? It was very simple, Harry. He said, since the days in the beginning with Belafonte, just a handful, a few thousand people who would organize 1199, we've now become close to 500,000 just in our local alone. We attract a little over 400,000 participants. And if you look at us nationally with SEIU, we're talking about 2.3 million more people. And in that time, he said, Bread and Roses was not only prevailed through the care and the patience of a lot of decent people within the organization who have not had much direction and not much focus from the leadership. Maybe if you stepped in, you could take a look at what we have done, where we are, and to see if you have any ideas to offer. And so with that invitation, I came here and gave me a little space upon the 14th floor, and I began to look at Bread and Roses, a cultural hub, a cultural center of the Union. The idea that such an idea could have risen out of the ranks of workers and the working class leadership of this union was in itself its own mighty proclamation. When people like Pete Seeger and Ozzie Davis and Ruby Lee and Sidney Poitier and James Earl Jones and others, when we were in our youth, were called upon by this union to service gatherings and various functions that went on in which we were part of the centerpiece of the evening's attraction. We gave of ourselves fully and joyously to an organization that we knew was not only of us, but from us and because of us. And so when the opportunity was offered to come and see what Bread and Roses was doing, I stepped in with a sense of purpose and desire to try to bring culture and all of the power of culture back to the table of activism. Because much that we know about labor, much that we know about life, much that we know about struggle, has been because of the presence of artists. Paul Robeson, when he first came to see a small group of us perform, said to us when he understood that Their desire to be in the arts was passion, not just a sense of opportunity or driven by false illusions or illusions that were false. He pointed out that picking art as a profession was a noble thing to do because, after all, artists are the gatekeepers of truth. With that anointing, we should understand that our mission was not casual. It was deeply rooted in purpose and an opportunity. So when I came, my gods and my passion and my goals were not driven by great stars that preceded me or great successes on the charts. We didn't have charts back then. And all of a sudden, I looked around and I found that most people who wanted to be in the arts were really seeking to achieve a higher station in life through economic attraction in the world of the arts. And I and the young people caught in that moment looked at the other options, which was the service of humanity, which was to use art as a tool, which was to inspire, which was to document the world that we saw, and be able to resist those who had commanded the space that artists were required to deal with when it came to having our voices heard. More often than other things we wanted to say were not considered appetizing, were not considered attractive. Nobody wanted to hear stories that had to do with slavery, stories that had to do with intransient white folks that went berserk from here to the street, cruelly destroyed the indigenous. When the indigenous was destroyed, they went and got others to fill the space of the Native Americans who had been preempted through genocide to another station in life, and then along came Africans. The only thing that I really knew about all of this history was what had been left behind by the gatekeepers of truth, those who had notated, those who had written hymns and letters and told stories handed down from generation to generation because we had not yet been given the privilege of engaging in the printed word. We had to find another hustle. And we did. And it was called liberation struggle. It was called using our resources and our art and our power and our voices and our songs and our music. All through the centuries of art in this country that has been anything, it has been the art that has come from that environment. It's come from those who have committed themselves in the pursuit of democracy and greater honor among fellow beings. So I came here with that notion in mind. When I came in, because it was 1199, I heard and saw Bed and Roses with a host of organizations within the institution itself, local committees and the shops down in Baltimore, what's going on up in Syracuse, what's going on in Boston and Toronto, and all around taking a look at the shops and all the different entities, healthcare, all of that kind of other. This is the place to be. And I turned to many of my fellow artists and I said, I think we found a base for us to be able to look to the future, to be able to find an environment where we can bring a new point of view to the table other than the ones we've been hearing all along from those who control media, who control what it is that people know or are required to know. Goebbels, great fascist, not great, but a very powerful fascist leader during Hitler's rise to power, was a minister of culture and communications, and he said, control what people know and you will control what people do. And with that fact in mind, they set forth to corral and to contain and to control all of the things that were said by artists and by journalists and by people who spoke truth to power. By doing that, they were able to brainwash a large number of citizens who instantly came from a state high up in its cultural order, high up in its academic achievements, a place called Germany, a place in the 1930s that had some of the great scientists and some of the great educators who overnight became the great was borders fascism fully blown. And in that context, the world was awakened to participate in the struggle against them, which is where I had my birth, in the struggle against fascism as an artist. And with the mentorship of people like Gross and Dr. W.E.B. Du Bois and Candace Lee and Marian Anderson, so many others. Having said that, that's what I brought to the table. The rest, banana boat songs, stars, awards, show businesses have given, and after a while become somewhat of a bore, because there are other things to talk about and other things to do. Now, with that said, now let me get to my point. I'll be through very quickly. I came into 1199 with certain assumptions. And certainly, this organization, this institution, and with the level of intellectual adroitness, capacity for its leadership, that I was walking into a place solidly rooted, not only in ideological, political theory of thought and history, but clearly defined on the path that it was embarking on, and other paths that had chosen for itself. So when I came in fully blown, highly motivated, taught to all the people that I knew, instantly get ready for a launching of some significance. The theory for what we were to do was based upon a history that had been to the gate of opportunity before and did things that succeeded. Artists had a big part in putting together many of the components of the civil rights movement. Many of the songs that were sung by many people were sung first by artists who created them, or young people who were aspiring to be artists who sang those songs and inspired our movements and our struggles. They also sang in the prisons themselves, in defiance of containment. And in doing that work, I just made the assumption that all that history of those tools are instantly at the disposal of the random file of 1199. All I had to do was to walk in and just organize the party. I discovered that harvest, that bounty, that richness was not that easily accessible. The first thing I did was to take a look at the group that I felt the most familiar with, which was the young within the organization. And I asked about what's going on with the youth in 1199. Let's leave Greg Roses alone for a moment. Tell me what's going on with the youth. And I was introduced to certain individuals and components that said they represented the youth in the institution. When I started meeting youth in the institution, young men and women caught up in an organization that has the title Purple Gold. I met with them. See who? Can I say something else? You never heard of Purple Gold? Point taken. The point is that when I started to meet these young people in Purple Gold, they didn't know Belafonte. They didn't know Leon Davies. They didn't know what Bread and Roses was. They didn't even know how Purple Gold became their cause. The more I dug for information, the more I understood that I had a group of young people in my hands that were passionate, with ideas and hopes and desires, but felt wholly contained and ill-used and abused by the very institution that they belonged to. And I had to step back a little bit and look more deeply, because if this is in fact the state of being, then what else is going on inside the 1199 that it professes to be that maybe is not quite what it says it is? It can dismiss the fact that there is desire, that there is honor, that there is intellect and capacity. Something's happened in the execution. And when I took up with Occupy Wall Street and got very much involved with not only the young people here in America, but with the Occupy movements in Tunisia and Cairo and Libya and all the other places, and began to hook up through 1199 the young people in our little space, and the information coming from the field. I was somewhat surprised that although 1199 surfaces some of the needs of these institutions once they come into existence and display, I didn't find workshops within the organization itself that was building the mighty model of leadership that should be positioned in this space to take over and to lead and to do things that the union says it wants to do, says it is doing, and yet there are evidences that we have a lot of work to do. We are now with one young woman by the name of Carmen Perez. She now heads an aspect of the Purple Gold movement. She comes from California. She's Chicano. She's Mexican. She's excruciatingly bright. She's a worker. She is a gang leader. She has been in the prison system not only as a woman who was incarcerated, but who became a great activist. And I asked her to come from California because I knew of her history of relationships with the struggles within the prison movement and within the gang culture. And so that I could come and stand by me while I worked through the Purple Gold crowd in 1199 and begin to know more about the rank and file and who the young people are. Excuse me. Well, it's quite a crowd here. We have just done our first polling, which was to find out what do we consider the youth parameter. Is it 31 years old down to 12? Is it 18 to 25? What is youth? How do you really define yourself? Just the most rudimentary bits of information have never been sorted out. So when I speak to young people, thinking that they've had all this great grounding in socialist thinking, all this great grounding in political history, but after all the assumptions, I was somewhat struck by the absence of information, and I felt the need that somehow we'd have to get on a point. Because when we call for meetings, do we have an ideological view within 1199 that instructs other people for what it means to be truly radical in our thinking and the things that we do? Is it just the union business as it refers to union business? Is it just will you be able to get another few dollars raised in minimum wage for the workers? Is that the only task? Is it somehow to make it a little bit more convenient for when we get time off and we have healthcare questions that can be answered? All those are terribly important, but what about the student? What about what really happens? I've talked to too many people who are part of the adult part of the membership who owe a lot to the young people here, and I listen to them talk about them sometimes with disdain. You know, what are they doing? Where are they? They don't know that, and young people feel suffocated. So my first sense of what to do with 1199 and this mission for the Left Labor Project was to say, what is the Left Labor Project doing in organizing specifically the young who are the inheritors of all of this, and what role do they play inside the institution and the organization to help build the kind of strong working class body of activists that we need to have here. And when I talk to the young people about culture and what we can do, they become hugely challenged and awakened by the idea that there's all this great stuff out here to be done that they do not have a handle on. Some of those young people, since I've been here, have stepped away, I'm sorry to say, because they felt somewhat lost in the midst of looking for their place. Because their skills way outweighed the ability for the institution to recognize them for what their gift truly was. And those skills belong to us. And they can feel rewarded by moving us into the higher use of the technology, of the tweeting and of the texting and all the things that modern technology does. Bring those people back. Do not let them leave without making sure you understood what you're losing. Because without this core of thinkers and young activists within the rank and file, those of us who are on their way to becoming my age, we're not going to be around that much longer. While we can celebrate and give ourselves a high five, I feel that we're doing a good job, and I think we are in many ways. I hasten to say that. I think we need to go back to the board and take another look and say, well, we got all these missions, all these great opportunities out here, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them. And look at how close we've been to certain moments, and so how clearly we missed the target, being able to mobilize communities. Just here in New York alone, one youth group resides in Brooklyn, in a place called Medgar Evers College, has a student body and a movement going on there that is stunning. And I went out to Medgar Evers to meet with the young people and to take a look. We called our first meeting here at 1199 for those young people to come gather and to speak about where was Medgar Evers going and the youth vision for itself. And when the meeting was held here at 1199, that's what most of it was 1199 people. I thought 1199ers came here just to be observers. But I didn't realize that this was a student body coming from Medgar Evers who were on campus, who had a union that had not been totally engaged with them in this struggle on campus. And I said, how can 1199 miss the opportunity to be engaged in this struggle in a black community with a college by the name of Medgar Evers, really so that